Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's North and South, brought to us by Kemco. Well, of course the game is based off the Civil War, it's also based off a Belgian comic, Les Tunics Blues. I'm sure I'm completely messing that up, and I fully apologize for that. But in the game, you play as either the North or the South. You can play in any of the years of the Civil War, and each year puts different situations into play. For this run of the game, I'll be playing with a level 3 difficulty South. I'll be playing as the North. I'll be putting the other events into play that you can have, such as Native Americans and weather. I'll be playing in 1863 just for fun's sake. There's not really a reason for picking that year over the rest. You do have different placements and different amounts of army members when this happens, and this one works out pretty well. The South is gaining victories here at this point during this situation, so now it's time for us to vanquish the South. And of course do so within the quickest amount of time we can, if we possibly can do that. Here we have our units that we're placing down. We have 4 of our units, and there is a total of 4 of their units. Basically, it's like a board game. Your goal, though, is to take over all of their spots. You can combine units to more powerful units, which is usually what I like to do early on. You can earn more units as time goes by having certain situations happen and owning certain spaces, such as whoever has North Carolina always ends up getting a free new soldier each turn. Here I'm going to take out the first army. When you're in the battle screen, you can switch between the units, depending on what you have, and then you have to control them. Now, it's difficult to say the least. My favorite thing, though, is the AI isn't the greatest. In fact, you can run cavalry units straight into the water, like you noticed I was able to do so with their whole set. Then run over their infantry unit and finish off their cannon pretty quickly. That map is one of just a few different maps that you're able to have battles on. Now, as they attack me, I don't have that many units left now. I'm weakened for sure. It's really hard to keep your units alive because they're going to be firing the cannons at the same time you're potentially moving your infantrymen. Unfortunately, you can't get the infantrymen a lot of times to walk off the bridge. You could destroy it if you have a cannon. Thankfully, if you hold back on the D-pad with the cavalry, you can get them to kind of like rear up on their hind legs and stop for a second. Unfortunately, though, still not quite able to have enough to take them out. There's the cannons that are still existing on the right side, so they end up getting the victory. There are some random events that can end up occurring, such as the storm that can end up halting you. You have the Native Americans that can end up taking you out if you're too close to them on the left side, and they just will randomly take out a unit on a spot of theirs. And the same goes for the spot down by Mexico. They could potentially take that spot as well. Now, with the different forts that are on places with the train stations, you have to actually take them. Now, here, I have to defend my fort against the enemy. At the bottom of the screen, there's the boot, which represents how far he's made it, and then there's the clock, which represents how much time is left before it expires and he loses this potential invasion. You start off with some knives. I'm going to throw them first, but then I'm going to get him stuck on top of the ladder and keep punching. If he takes out one of my units, I have to either press up or down on the D-pad to bring out a new unit. Up puts him at top, down puts him at the bottom. Anytime there's a gap, you can use that gap to help you out, because the enemy will have to jump over it, and that gives you a good chance to hit them with a weapon. You gotta love when AIs just keep trying to do the same thing over and over again, yet keep on failing. Now, potentially he can punch you in the air as well, but as long as you punch at the right time, you'll be able to keep him at bay. Now, eventually he's able to free himself and continue on a little bit, but I've eaten up a decent amount of time. You can also knock them off of buildings sometimes using your knives and punches. The only thing is, though, when they fly off screen, they potentially could take your character off screen, and if your character goes off screen, it counts as them being taken out. If you run out of knives, try to keep going right into that punch combo. Just keep mashing punch over top of them, and hopefully you'll be able to hit them. Sometimes you can get them stuck on the ladder, where they'll keep kind of glitching at the top if you keep going for your punch. Once the time is expired, though, they have failed in their mission, and we go back to the map screen. Here, I'm going to take out this unit, locate it right here. For this battle, it's still the bridge map. I'm going to start by blowing up the bridge, or at least attempting to. This way, it prevents the soldiers from being able to walk that way. Instead, they're forced to take the upper path, which a lot of times, they just walk right into the water. So only the one soldier ends up surviving. They have one more soldier at their disposal on the right side I have to deal with, as well as a couple of cannons. It can be difficult to take out the cannons. Usually I have to end up sending my cavalry unit in order to do so. I'm going to be very careful trying to get them across, but I end up losing a bunch of them in the water anyway. With everything else done, though, the cannons, after they fire, they will retreat, and that's the end of them. And we've completed that fight. Here I'm going for another big battle. We have a decent amount of cannons and soldiers at our disposal. Start off once again by destroying the bridge. I don't destroy it quite fast enough, so I have to finish off their cavalry when they get over here to the side. Doing that, though, a lot of their infantry will end up drowning here, and I'm able to kind of pick off the last few on the little rocky bridge. Carefully get over the rocks using my cavalry, and then finish off their last cannon. But don't worry, they'll be able to get more soldiers soon. Each of the turns, let's try to take as many of the Confederate-owned areas as we can. The game, if you're quick, can be beaten extremely fast. I used to speedrun the game quite a bit, and you can beat it in a minute or less. Here we get to see the ship show up and give the free soldier unit over to the Confederacy there. So now they have plenty of units to deal with. They go ahead and attack my newest unit. I'm going to run their cavalry into the water using the little trick with the AI. Then run across the bridge and take out most of their infantry using my horse riding members. Then continue up here using my infantry to finish off the last of theirs. And you just have to finish off the cannon, which always can be a little bit of a pain to do so. Unfortunately, they fire at my cavalry, so I'll quickly switch to them just to get them moving to avoid being taken out. Finally, a different map. Unfortunately, I only have one cavalry member left, which is not going to be enough to deal with them. I can take out one or two soldiers, but it's not going to be much that I can do with just the single horse. I'm using the rocks in the center to kind of break up the groups, allowing me to have a little bit more of an opportunity to potentially hit them. Unfortunately, though, they're waiting for me as soon as I show up, and they take me out before I'm able to even get control back for my cavalry unit. I'm going to take back some of the places they already took from me. Here I'm going to go down and take a fort of my own. Now, there's a few tricks to this. You basically want to get rid of the AI opponents as quick as you can. They're extremely annoying to take out, especially at level 3 with how fast and everything they are. Thankfully, if you get hit, it's not going to hurt you. You just have a limited number of knives to deal with these people. You can get an enemy off screen. Thankfully, that still counts as getting rid of them. And that's something I like to use to my advantage quite a bit. Here I'm going to run over to the right past the ladder just to get one of those enemies to spawn, then go back to the left, and you can see I took care of them that way, and then just continue over to the right to finish up the fort. They combine a couple of their units together as I'm working my way across the south. Getting enough money going here, I'm able to get another soldier. So I'm going to place them right near where the other one was here on the north part of the map, and that way I can take them down. This game can be played 2-player, and I absolutely recommend it. Playing against a friend can be a lot of fun. Now here, they're going to try to take the fort once again, so I got to do my best in order to try to keep them from doing so. Early on, I'm just going to keep them at bay near this ladder, knock them down a few times. Timing it to actually hit them with the knife is sometimes difficult. You don't really want to mash it. You kind of want to like do a little hesitation and hope that when you throw it next, that he'll stand up when you do. Even if he's just ducking, though, at least that eats up a little bit of the time. If you just keep punching a lot of times, he'll just duck in front of you, eventually trying to stand and punch you. The whole time, though, he's ducking at least, once again, just eating up a little bit of that time. Like we did last time, we're going to use this gap to kind of keep him at bay, just keep punching him each time. If you time it right, you can just keep hitting him. If he ends up falling, though, we'll have to kind of chase him down a little bit. It can be difficult controlling your men just because of how fast everything is going. I'm going to be careful, I only have 2 soldiers left. The time is almost at the end, but... he ends up walking straight into the explosives, which is just hilarious. But the time runs out, and that's it for him, and we're continuing on. Gonna now take out that same unit that just tried to take my fort. I'm going to get my units ready and then run their cavalry straight into the water. Run through their infantry and then try to attack the next set of cavalry. If you time it right, you can actually take them out without being hit yourself. It's very hard to do sometimes. Unfortunately, one of their infantrymen make it over the bridge. Take it out with my last cavalry member. Get my cavalry member across and then deal with these two cannons over here. Once they retreat, we're back to the map and going to continue on here. Take this soldier, I'm going to move down, trying to get to North Carolina. Here they end up getting their free soldier. Gonna move over to the right here and take out their next soldier. I only have the 3 cavalry members, but they're better than just having like an infantry, so if I can take out their cavalry or at least miss them, I should be able to take out some of their units. Unfortunately, it's just my cavalry versus them. Try to get them broken up a little bit. And then attack them as soon as they're coming back. That way you can get them before they're able to start attacking. I'm going to do it pretty much again, or get over there as quick as I can to hit them, and that soldier drops and another unit has been taken care of. Here, they're going to try to rob the train on us, so we'll get to see that. It's very similar to the forts, except you actually can knock them off the train, and if you do so, you can actually get the thing to be over quickly. Attack him immediately as he comes up the ladder, and then wait for him to come over and attack him again. And you should be able to knock him right off the train and complete the whole train heist. I'm glad that we at least got to see a little bit of it. There's only the 1 unit left, so we're going to work on finishing that off. I'm going to attack with this unit. I end up finding out, though, I don't have much left with this one. Just a couple of cavalry members is what's left, so... Unfortunately, I make a mistake and end up falling into the water with the one thing and end up getting a hit by the other. So I'm going to use my cavalry, take out the ones on the bridge, or at least a few of them, but I end up getting hit by one of the bullets. It was just really hard to dodge there. Thankfully, I still have plenty of other units on the map. And I can still attack for a second time this turn. Take out the cavalry member with the cannon just for fun, and then I'm going to take out the bridge. The one infantry member survives, but then goes north and drowns themselves, and that's how we end up winning. By one of the soldiers drowning themselves. Well done, Corporal. You have put an end to this bloody war by defeating the South in 11 months. It's time to make America again the land of the free. So there you have it, North and South, one of my favorite games on the NES. A lot of fun, especially if you have a friend to play against, but even with the AI, it's still enjoyable. With it, it's going to wrap up this episode of Play It Through. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.